Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Friday, 16th May 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Prime Minister Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines defends his government's opposition to his OECS counterparts' citizenship by investment programs. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. St. Vincent and the Grenadines' Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves serves notice to his OECS counterparts that they will not get solidarity regarding the CRT programs. More from this Carib Update news item.
Gonsalves is again defending his government's opposition to CBI in the aftermath of a scathing response earlier this month by his Antiguan colleague Gaston Brown to suggestions by Gonsalves that CBI programs are inherently corrupt.
I'm always in favor of us in the region trying to see if everybody could hold one common head. But those 4 reasons are so powerful, I can't hold a common head on anybody with that.
The Antigua Prime Minister had accused Gonsalves of adopting the position of developed countries that have opposed to any innovation that developing countries devise to carve out a space for themselves. On Monday, Gonsalves dismissed Brown's comments, saying his administration will not budge on the matter.
I don't really anything to say about what Gaston said. I don't think he advances the discussion at all. And to the extent that there has to be an answer, my answer is in what I stated initially.
Gonsalves says the passport of his country is sacred and will never be up for sale.
As I always say, the passport is the outward sign of the inward grace of citizenship, and citizenship is the highest office in the land. Neither is a commodity for sale.
The Vincentian Prime Minister's pushed back against the opposition there. One has backed the idea of introducing a CBI program, a matter that could become a main debating point in the lead-up to general elections, likely there this year. Gonsalves, whose country is one of the fewest relations with Taiwan, seen by China as a renegade province, has suggested that the push to have St. Vincent adopt a CBI program is being supported by Chinese actors, whom he claimed, without providing evidence, are prepared to bankroll the opposition's campaign.
That's why they're joining up with people with the get rid of Taiwan and bring China. So there's a confluence of interests because the Chinese companies too selling passports. You want to undermine a government which has brought such benefits to the people for the last 24 years? No. That ain't going to happen. St. Vincent and the Grenadines respects the Chinese civilization. I admire it greatly. I'm a student of the Chinese civilization. And we don't subscribe to a one China policy. There's a one Chinese civilization, and you can have different political expressions out of that civilization. Why you want to come and undermine my democracy to get a government, to get a party to come in?
President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, said his country will work with Latin America and the Caribbean to launch 5 programs to further increase cooperation within the region. TTT's Daniel John is in Beijing and reports.
He made the statement at the opening ceremony of the 4th anniversary meeting of the CELAC Forum on Tuesday. To continue building a community with a shared future between China and Latin America and the Caribbean, LAC, President Xi Jinping said China will launch 5 major programs. President Xi said China will implement a people-to-people connectivity program where government scholarships will be given.
In the next 3 years, China will provide CELAC member states with 3,500 government scholarships, 10,000 training opportunities in China, 500 international Chinese language teachers scholarships.
Another is the Solidarity Program, where over the next 3 years, China will invite 300 political officials from CELAC member states to visit China each year.
China will work with LAC countries to support each other on issues bearing on our respective core interests and major concerns. We must enhance exchanges in all fields and strengthen communication and coordination on major international and regional issues.
Through the development program, China will provide a 66 billion yuan, the equivalent to 9 billion US or 62 billion TT dollars credit line to support LAC's development.
We should expand cooperation in emerging areas such as clean energy, 5G telecommunications, the digital economy, and artificial intelligence, and carry out the China-LAC Science and Technology Partnership.
The other projects include a civilization and peace program. Daniel John, TTT News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Commissioner of Police Earla Harewood Christopher has been sent on vacation leave. The Ministry of Homeland Security in a media release advised that Mrs. Harewood Christopher has accrued 66 days of vacation leave and she has been informed to proceed on leave with effect from Wednesday. TTT News has some details.
The ministry commended Mrs. Harewood Christopher for her service spanning over 4 decades with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and said her dedication and leadership have significantly contributed to the advancement of the service and the enhancement of public safety in our nation. The Homeland Security Ministry further advised that Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin remains at the helm of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Mr. Benjamin, who was appointed to the post on February 6, 2025, would continue until the ministry is advised by the Police Service Commission of a change in this status. Mrs. Harewood Christopher's contract as Commissioner of Police is set to end on May 14, 2025, 1 day before her 62nd birthday.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
A leading criminal defense attorney in Barbados is making a strong case for changes to the treatment of people charged with certain offences. Attorney at law Michael Lashley is speaking out after securing a not guilty verdict for his client, Member of Parliament Neil Rowe, who was facing a charge of rape. CBC's Crystal Hoyt reports.
Less than a week after the conclusion of one of the most closely watched criminal cases in recent times, attorney at law Michael Lashley, who represented Member of Parliament Neil Rowe, is calling for reform regarding sexual assault cases. He specifically wants the practice of publicly naming the accused to stop.
The same way how you can protect the identity of the virtue complainant, you should protect the identity of the accused. And I think that identity should come after the jury bring back their verdict. You know, small societies like Barbados, when you become accused of a sexual offense, be it indecent assault, be it rape, and that it's covered in the paper. So your name is plastered all over the paper, whether the case take 2 weeks, a week, 3 days, or 4 days. And you're vilified by the public.
When asked whether Mr. Rowe intends to pursue any legal action following the case, Lashley says he is awaiting instructions from his client, but will also be sending pre-action protocol letters to start the process.
Malicious prosecution is where, of course, you believe that the police basically brought a charge or trumped up a charge against you where there's no evidence. But I must say that any malicious prosecution matter. It is very high standard, and the case law says it's a very high standard. But of course, we would seek to pursue.
The well-known criminal lawyer is also advocating for more timely use of DNA evidence in such investigations.
It troubles me that you proffer the charge on the accused person, and the DNA comes after the charge, and the DNA results to say, look, your client or my client is really not connected. There's no scientific evidence linking the accused to the crime, but yet the person is charged.
He also highlighted the speed at which this particular case was handled, saying it reflects how efficiently a rape case can be managed when the system works as it should.
It says that it can be done. And I must say that my client wanted his day in court, and so we pushed for it. We wrote letters to pretrial disclosures. We kept noise in court for the pretrial statements, and the police worked efficiently and gave it. In fact, I must say that this is one of the really one of the quickest time that I had received pretrial disclosures in a matter. And I don't know if because of who was involved, but we pushed for it because we felt that our client must have his day in court, that the social media experts must not find him guilty before he get his day in court.
Mr. Lashley believes a separate court should handle sexual offences cases. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
A leading regional agency supporting Caribbean law enforcement is hosting a major conference in St. Lucia. Key discussions focus on border security challenges and the region's evolving migration landscape. Zain Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
The CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts commenced a pivotal three-day meeting in St. Lucia on Wednesday, focusing on fortifying regional partnerships to tackle migrant smuggling, human trafficking, and transnational organized crime. This 28th session of the Standing Committee of Chiefs of Immigration and Comptrollers of Customs brings together senior officials from CARICOM's 15 member states, 6 associate members, and international partners. The meeting's agenda includes exploring emerging technologies such as digital identity, biometric border controls, and e-passport standards.
These initiatives are essential for improving passenger facilitation, enhancing border security, and ensuring seamless mobility across our member states. As countries that rely on tourism, and we as the security professionals in immigration and customs, it's always a very delicate balancing act how to facilitate that seamlessness of low risk or no risk passengers while ensuring that we are protecting the borders. And this is part of the conversation I think the agenda is going to allow us to flesh out today.
Closed caucus sessions will also deliberate on legislative harmonization, integrated border management, and capacity building.
To meet these challenges, we must invest in leadership at all levels. Leadership that is informed by intelligence, grounded in integrity, and driven by innovation. We must commit to harmonizing our procedures, modernizing our tools, and strengthening our human capital through training, joint exercises, and shared resources. No member state has the capacity to go it alone. Thus, regional security has and continues to be a shared responsibility.
In addition, the three-day meeting will address advancing the regional migration policy and supporting broader CARICOM integration goals.
The threats we face today require an approach that is different from before. It's an environment where the criminals can, with a snap of the finger, give you a year's salary. These enemies of our nations will exploit human weaknesses, the desire of humans who want more, the desire of humans to have a better quality of life. They are the ones who because of their selfishness, will not mind if our countries collapse. We are engaged in a battle for goodness, a battle that is not won overnight. Leadership requires determination, and I say courage, and also a strong sense of love for yourself and for your country.
Officials emphasized that the outcomes of the CICC will shape CARICOM's future border security architecture, enhance cohesive migration policies, and reinforce frameworks to address shared regional challenges. For the DBS News World, Zaid Romulus reporting.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.